What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I just punched the mic as I said that. I'm Patriotic. This is the podcast of technical difficulties.
We still haven't named yet.
We still haven't named yet, but we're we're working on it.
We put a couple out there, and we don't. Most of them devolve into us going, man, that sounds too sexual.
Everything we do. We just gotta I think we'll make a poll on Twitter or something, or YouTube. We'll do top 5 or something, but
yeah,
we'll figure it out. At least before we go to a live, because we eventually want to move to a live show, but which we talked about.
By that point, we should probably have a name for it.
Yeah, but for now, we are just the Patriotic podcast, and we are on episode 3, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. We got Joe Biden, we got Dr. Phil craziness, all kinds of things, video game stuff. And we're just
Hillary Clinton has a master class.
Hillary Clinton has a master class. Did that even go through? Because that was a couple weeks ago now. Is she is that like a legit?
No, that's a legit thing. You can go take her master class.
I'm just like, what is she?
I don't know why, but you can.
What is she teaching you exactly? How to
almost be president? I don't know.
Yeah, so some of the memes popping up were just like how to get away with murder, and just how to not win president.
Married to the president. I don't know.
But she's doing that, and we should just sign up and see what it's like, just so we can report back.
It's not that expensive, to be honest. I don't think master classes are that expensive.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, we're trying to buff out the technical difficulties, which we just had. Well, we're not gonna, we're trying here, but we got Adam's audio, I think, pretty good.
Well, definitely let us know. We saw the comments about and it's my stupidity. I accidentally had the mic. So this is my new mic that I got, and I accidentally had it turned the other way, and when I was adjusting the gain, I was turning the dial to, because it's not marked on here what's more and what's less. Yeah. I was just turning it up, and it just was
Uh-oh.
I was turning the gain the wrong way, and it was just making it louder and louder. So we think we found the perfect sweet spot for it, and if not, I'll just turn it down some more.
Yeah, I think we got it. Should be good, and obviously you can find this, assuming you're watching this on YouTube, you can also find it on Spotify, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, and a bunch of other platforms I can't even remember.
A bunch of other random places.
It's all in there. I did originally say I'm uploading Gab TV, but I'm having a lot of trouble uploading there, so I'll try to figure it out. But for now, it's here in Rumble if you want the video portion, and obviously the audio only versions which I mentioned. But I'm gonna, now that I figured out how to share my screen, actually, not perfectly, but
we figured it out.
Yeah, as rough as I can with Discord. Discord's not great, but it does the job. So Biden, Grandpa, had a press conference, and it was
terrible.
Man, it was. I've seen him have some bad, like what I'm doing right now, trying not finding the words, him mumbling. You
mean a senior moment?
Yeah, a senior moment. But this is bad. This is one of the worst. I'm going to show a clip later, but it was there's a clip of him, it's almost 3 minutes long, of him just rambling off of, I don't, normally I can, even when he's rambling, I can be okay, I kind of see what he's trying to say. I think his mind's thinking the words, but they're not coming out properly. Yeah, but this is, one of those times where I'm just what the hell is he saying? What is he, oh my God, it was so hard to watch.
And you almost feel bad for him too.
Yeah.
As much as I disagree and dislike his policy and all that, at some point you gotta think and everybody's been saying it, left and right. Does he not have a family that tells him maybe you shouldn't have done this?
Yeah, that's what you would think. I
understand he wanted to run. He ran for president before, and he's been wanting to be president. I get that, but sometimes you're just past your prime. And I don't think it's being a dick saying that either. I think that's just something that you gotta admit at some point, that you're not the young buck anymore. You're not the guy that's all together there with it. Like, I wouldn't wish my grandfather was, obviously getting sicker and sicker as he got older. I wouldn't have wanted him to, go be the president of the United States.
Yeah. I mean,
as much as I love him.
Yeah, it's like, what does that say about his family? I mean, like,
exactly.
I think it was like they probably looked at the polls, like, all right, we need anybody to beat Donald Trump. Who do we got? And they looked at the polls and they're just like, holy crap, is Joe Biden really like the most favored one to run against him? And so that's why they had 20 different candidates run. By the way, Kamala Harris was like dead last. Nobody likes her. Right. I don't know why he.
Even though she started out like super duper strong, and then
yeah, she did, but she opened her mouth.
Oh man, I can't remember her name now. She's the one that they said
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. Like, Hillary Clinton was like bitching about her at one point or something like that.
Oh yeah,
she's
like one of the few Democrats I actually like Tulsi Gabbard. I disagree with her a lot, but she's reasonable. She's not like crazy.
Yeah, well, she will reach across the aisle, is what I think.
Yeah.
Something that we were talking about last time was like reaching across the aisle. Like,
yeah,
that's just something that you don't see anymore.
She's probably going to end up being a Republican, a rhino Republican, but
yeah. But Tulsi Gabbard was the one that like freaking torpedoed her.
Oh, she did. Yeah, there's that clip.
She said something about her, having the most incarceration or something like that, and just completely destroyed Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, Kamala Harris, she threw away so many like young black people and like totally screwing them out of like getting out of jail early, like all this like corrupt stuff. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah, and when that got brought to light, that's when all of a sudden there was this shift where, because like even the establishment isn't ready. They don't like Bernie Sanders enough to let him.
No, they I don't like Bernie, but they totally screwed him over. Like when he was running versus Hillary and stuff. Like,
right.
They're super delegates, which is weird. I don't, if you get the super delegates, you're not gonna be able to be, you're not gonna win in the primary. Which all the super delegates went to Hillary. It was rigged from the start for Bernie. Like, they clearly don't want any kind of outsider-ish people. That's the only credit I'll give Bernie. He was screwed over in the election.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, twice. That's right.
Twice screwed over.
Yeah,
Let's not forget Hillary Clinton also stole that away from him the first go around.
Yeah, he even ripped into Joe Biden pretty good in that debate. I was like watching some clips. Did. Yeah, he was just.
But again, Biden was the warm body they needed.
Yeah, even some of like my more like centrist, maybe a little right leaning friends were just like, oh yeah, Joe Biden, he's like kind of like the middle of the road guy that'll bring everybody together. Like, they always had
he's the puppet we need.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, the guy saying literally, vote for me or agree with me or you're literally Hitler, Vote, or what do you say recently? Like, you're either for our voting bill or you're Bull Connor or you're, or you're this. But he's not divisive, though. He draws the line in the sand, but he's not divisive,
Definitely not, because, I mean, would a divisive person have put on Kamala Harris as his token black girl?
Exactly. He has well, I don't even know if she's black, isn't. First, they said she was the first black VP, and she was in.
She's like Jamaican, and then they're like, oh, she's not really completely that. I don't.
There's like some article. I'll have to find it. It was like
her ancestors owned a slave plantation. I don't know.
But she's the first Indian American to achieve this, and then the next article is like she's the first black VP, and then it says something about her being Asian, some sort of Asian race. Right. I'm just like, where did she just change her race depending on the time of the day? Like, I want to be the first black this, and I want to be the first this. I can think she kind of just like chooses like a chameleon.
But it was definitely Biden was like, this is my way to get the minority vote. Well, I don't know if it was his choice, but it was definitely whoever's running the campaign. Like,
oh yeah, they do not like each other. That's pretty much clear from everything. it was like, why her? She was the bottom of the polls. Like it doesn't really make any
Well,
logical
it's
sense.
because at one point she was the top of the polls. It was only because Tulsi Gabbard exposed her. And you notice when she was vice president, they had to like hide all that shit about her. They were like, oh, no, well, she wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah, she had, some people on drug charges that, may or may not have been legitimate and had them working as free slave labor, but wow.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
She may or may not have slept her way to the top. Well, I don't know, maybe.
The
Who
freedom
doesn't do that nowadays?
the freedom tunes of that where Kamala Harris is just putting like weed in the back pockets of like young black people. She's like, well, look at officer, getting them thrown away. But
anyway,
so
this article.
yeah, the press conference was bad, but one of the most interesting things that happened was that Biden hammered for saying 2022 midterms could be easily illegitimate, even if even CNN's host ripped the president's election remarks. So you cannot mention like almost anything about the election. I've gotten 2 strikes on my channel. Well, technically 3. The first one they give you is a warning. I can't get that removed from my channel. It's just there. I have a warning now. But I got the 2 strikes removed. Yeah. They're like, warning, you're on thin ice, mister. So I got 2 strikes removed. Thankfully, I appealed them, and YouTube, I don't want to give them really any credit, but they did remove the strikes. But they're like, you can't mention anything about the election. People were called domestic terrorists, insurrectionists, all this stuff for even just questioning the 2020 election, saying like, hey, look, this thing happened in this state. Maybe there's something there. Maybe we should look into it. Even someone like that is completely, vilified and demonized.
They yank them quick.
Yeah. But here's the election didn't even happen yet, and he's saying it could be illegitimate. So here's the thing, like,
it's so stupid too. Like, so here's the thing too. So he has CNN, MSNBC, and all that like in his back. Like for the most part, the mainstream media is in his back.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is not that he's like buying them out. It's just the fact that they are obviously skewed towards the left, right? And so even though they aren't running direct orders from him, what they're doing is they're running the articles that make him look good and not running the stuff that makes him look bad.
Yeah.
And it's completely obvious. It's the same thing with like Fox News on some of the Republicans and stuff. Like, we're not going to really run this article, but we're definitely going to run this article.
Yeah, Fox News is almost as bad as CNN now. With I don't really. I like Tucker. He's awesome. I think I mentioned it last episode. Everybody should watch his Patriot Purge documentary.
Yeah, he runs the freaking like the views on that.
Oh yeah.
He has to. And
he got dropped by so many sponsors. Like I thought, I feel like every time I hear about a sponsor being dropped, I'm like, are they going to take Tucker off the air soon? I'm like, I feel like it's coming, but I don't know.
It's soon.
They'll come. They'll hashtag me to him at some point or whatever, like they did with Bill O'Reilly or whatever.
No, I don't know, man. They don't like the Me Too people, especially at like CNN with the pedophiles. But
that's true. Man, that was a mess, and that was a story that just kind of like got scooped under the rug, Yeah.
Oh, you mean like everything that has to deal with pedophiles?
Oh yeah.
Just push that under.
Hey, it's MAPS, okay? It's minor attracted person. You gotta get that right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I still can't believe that is a thing that they were trying to push, but it is. I called it. I'm like, they're gonna try to push pedophilia at some point.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a minor attracted person, Joe Biden.
Well, whoop, whoop.
I just find it funny that he, like you were saying, he says illegitimate, and you were talking about how you get these strikes just for like
mentioning it, yeah,
mentioning stuff that's happening in like Arizona and stuff, and it's just like, well, it's news. It's not. I'm not making an inference one way or the other. I'm just saying that this is happening.
But even like asking questions, like we can't question something. We can't question anything now. We can't question election. We can't question health choices now. Like
what is this, 1984? What the?
yeah, it's getting insane. But like the thing with the election thing was, so he's saying if we don't pass, oh, I gotta stop. Oh shit, hang on, guys. He's saying if we don't pass these this voting bill, this voting act, whatever he's calling it, John Lewis voting act. They're really good at naming things, like the Cute Puppies Act, 24/7, Jesus praise us, and then when you oppose it, they're like, oh, what? Do you hate puppies and Jesus?
Heard of Jesus.
But they're like, if we don't pass this, the 2022 election could be illegitimate. So I'm like, so we don't have it passed now. So we didn't have it passed in 2020. So were you saying 2020, all these conspiracy theorists were right then? Like, where are you going with that?
That's what's so funny about this. As I was saying, like, before we got off on the tangent of CNN having pedophiles.
Yeah.
But CNN, like, will actively run cover for this stuff. Like, we've known that they would do that. They'll just like, well, when he said Truman Shabana pressure, he was actually trying to say this, and Batacaf care. You guys are taking him out of context. Even here, when he's just like, so like, all he has to do is pretty much just like keep his speeches short, sweet, and simple.
Oh yeah.
And even then, he's just like, oh yeah, it could be like an illegitimate election or whatever.
Yeah, they're
no, don't say that. What's wrong with you?
They're not going to have another press conference, at least not for a long time. And it's crazy that that's news. Like Jen Psaki's like, I just want to announce that the president is going to take questions. I'm like, why is that news that the president's going to take questions? Like that, it's news that he's taken this long to take questions. Donald Trump was constantly taking questions. He would, do his famous walk over to the reporters when his airplane's in the background, super loud. He was constantly talking to reporters. He was constantly going to the Lion's Den on ABC, on CNN. Like he was so transparent.
Well, he also just liked that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's a Hollywood guy. He's used to TV and all.
And that's something that I actually didn't like about him was, like he just. And I'm not trying to say he's stupid, but when you are constantly going into interviews and questionnaires where they have the advantage and they're going to twist your words, like sometimes it's just not good to. Sometimes you just have to have that Trumpian approach where he's just like, oh, you're fake news, and just ignore them.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes he would just like actively engage them. It's just like, no, go back to the Trump that was like calling them fake news and just ignoring their questions. Like, you don't have to answer all their stupid questions. And,
yeah, he definitely got more like, compared to Biden, I think it's good because like Biden, what has he done, one or two press conference? He's still never done an official State of the Union speech. Remember they did that half-assed one, and it's crazy just how sheltered he is, and so many people. I think people are starting to catch on. His approval rating is like almost in the 20s, which is crazy.
Not talking to the okay, so there's always a direct correlation with presidents and their approval rating when they actually are just talking to the public. Like, believe it or not, Trump's approval rating actually went up when during the beginning of COVID there was that whole medical conference thing that he did like every day or whatever, discussing the virus and this and that. His approval rating actually went up because people were hearing him and they're like, oh, okay, so the guy's actually doing something. He's not just like, wanking it in the corner and, doing nothing while everybody's suffering. Like he's putting our tax dollars to work to do something to help us.
Yeah.
So his approval rating went up, and you can see like
having communication.
It started to go back down after they stopped airing those.
Yeah, well, it was like
well, we can't have this.
Well, at first, if you remember the beginning, they were all praising Trump. Like all the Democrats were saying, "Oh, he did such a good job." Remember he built that like hospital ship and shipped it out to New York in case they needed it.
Even though Cuomo would rather kill off. And I will never let people forget this. He decided instead of using that, we should just kill all the old people.
Yeah, just stuff them all in the nursing home. That's why, I'm not saying that the claims were false by these women, but it was definitely planted that they were just like, do we have anything? Do we have anything to deter it away from this nursing home scandal? And they're like, we think that he might have sexually assaulted someone. We're not sure. And they're like,
he likes to grope women all the time. I mean,
yeah, they're like, all right, investigate that. Yeah, they're like, investigate that like crazy, dig up the dirt, and then they're like, oh, he really did sexually assault some women. All right, he's gone. Bye. We don't have to look into anything else. And he, justifiably so, got in trouble for that stuff, but it's ignoring the fact that he killed over 15,000 elderly people, if not more, and now they're letting him off the hook now, because if he got investigated, then we would have to investigate what Wolf did in Pennsylvania and Whitmore and all that. It would be a chain reaction. So they knew what they were doing with that.
Well, it's almost like it almost feels like a Chinese propaganda sting type of operation where they're just like, okay, they notice that one of their people is in trouble for this, and what China does is when they sweep something under the rug, they sweep it under the frickin' rug. Oh, yeah. That's why you don't know what the death numbers are in China. I'm sure there's probably, oh man, so many old folks. I don't even know if they have old folks in China, but wherever they keep their,
I don't know what they do over there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But I imagine, though, that, their elderly deaths are through the roof. But they're good at all right, well, we're just going to hide that. We don't want people to know how many deaths there are.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what this feels like. It's almost like they were like, all right, they definitely fucked up.
Yeah.
There's obviously something wrong here. They should not have did this, but they did it because they didn't want to say that they had to use Trump's help.
Yeah.
However they wanted to justify it in their stupid ego-ridden head.
Yeah, because they thought they could use it politically. Because at first, I think I mentioned it last time, there's a good montage, or there was a good montage on YouTube, they might have taken it down, of Democrat after Democrat praising Trump, saying, wow, he did such a good job. The response by this administration was amazing. And then all of a sudden, it was the exact opposite. Actually, no, he's horrible. He did the worst job. People are dying because of Trump. And I'm just like, what the hell happened here?
Did I mention he's orange and bad?
Yeah, he's orange. We got to remember that point.
And the torches. You're gonna remember
the KKK.
It's just so odd too, because we're talking about how Biden gets these gaffes just kind of forgotten about, and how these Cuomo gets his obvious mess up, huge mess up. Biden has done some dumb gaffes in his time, but I mean, I don't imagine he's killed 15,000 old people. So. That's something that
he just got his family rich off of China, and
just kind of did shady dealings everywhere.
I mean, when a crack addict son who smokes, Parmesan cheese and
off the floor,
dude, that kid is more richer and more privileged than I'll ever be in my life, and I guarantee you, I worked more in just a day than he is in his entire life. There's something wrong there. There's something going on.
Hold on. Look. You've never obviously had to have sex with a crack whore, okay? That's a lot of work.
That I can't attest to that. That's true. I don't know what that's like.
We have the videos of him
doing stuff.
Stuff with crack whores.
Smoking some cheese,
That is so stupid to me. All right. I'm going off. That is just so fucking stupid. So I can't get away with recently I was driving my truck and I got pulled over by the DOT to get fucking inspected because we got to see if your truck's overweight. And yep. Oh, I'm sorry guys. I was driving on a road where it was a 16,000 pound limit, and I was 16,400 pounds. They got me.
That's racist, man.
Oh man, but the thing is, though, I will get freaking sacked by the DOT for shit like that. And this motherfucker has video evidence of him with, different countries, prostitutes all over the place and smoking crack on video.
Yep.
And nothing happens to him. Instead we have very touching and in-depth interviews and 60 minutes on Joe Biden's son.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden, like, what's going on with you? Please tell us your story.
Well, I'm recovering now. I smoked cheese a couple times, and that wasn't the best thing to do. But
that's terrible. Please tell us about those crack whores. Do you regret it?
I'm gonna smoke some cheese right after this interview. I'm gonna recover, just not yet. It's gonna be in a little bit. I can quit if I want to.
And do you kind of regret the videos and stuff that you put out there? Do you regret them at all? Maybe texting your underage niece, provocatively. Do you regret that?
Well, she came on to me. All right, she's a little bit of a whore, so that wasn't my fault, allegedly. But
even with your brother's widow, like, how's that?
Such a. But the thing is, like, it's like, what do you care what a president's son does? It's like, you guys freaking went after and fully investigated Donald Trump Jr. because he answered some email of them saying, like, hey, we have dirt on Hillary Clinton. And he responded to it or whatever it was. So then they did a full investigation on him.
Right.
And they're constantly after. They're even after Barron, who's a 12-year-old kid. Like,
didn't they go after his 12-year-old son?
Yeah.
Like, oh man. And then, like, I guess he's like does art or something, and like the whole community like, man, your art fucking sucks, kid. It's like, yeah, he's 12.
Oh yeah. That with the whole kids in cages thing, which if you guys want to know, it's already tripled under Biden, and it started under Obama and Biden, and Trump was actually shutting down facilities because they were getting empty and, securing our border.
That's not what CNN said, all right?
Well, CNN likes little kids, so we can't really take their word for it anymore. But what were we saying about the Hunter Biden? I'm totally drawing a blank now.
Yeah, well, we were just saying because... So all of that stuff gets swept under the rug, right?
Right.
And like this whole thing with the illegitimate, like.
No! I remember what I was saying about Barron. Totally drew a blank. Barron with the kids in cages thing. Yeah, the kids in cages thing. There was like people saying like some celebrities said, we should throw Barron in a cage and like all this stuff. And I'm like, you're attacking his 12-year-old kid, and that's where we go after Hunter, because I'm like, look, if you're going to attack a 12-year-old kid, go after Donald Trump Jr. We can say whatever the hell we want against Biden's effed up family, all right? Going after Hunter, like using your presidential powers to get your son rich and your entire family rich, and that's not news.
Yeah, that's not even conspiracy anymore. Like I find that funny too. Like it's like at first they're like, that's just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. And then it's like, well, actually, maybe he's on this board of Burisma. And
yeah.
He doesn't have any qualifications. But, that doesn't mean anything. It's just he's like a liaison for them. And then it turns into, okay, yeah, he didn't even fucking help them at all. They just kind of paid for his way so that they could get favors from Biden.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
But it's it's insane. We kind of like went way off topic from what I originally was going to say, but about the voting thing with Biden, about the illegitimate election that apparently is coming up.
Well, I tried to bring us back, and you're like, nah, kids in cages.
No, because I wanted to make my point. I totally forgot, but I'm kind of retarded.
I'm kind of retarded.
Bless that man. But
frog's gay.
But the whole thing with the election is like they're saying it's illegitimate. They're saying that if we don't pass this voting bill, they're really pushing it out that apparently black people aren't going to be able to vote. And I wanted to play this clip for you real quick with our favorite Cherokee senator.
So I don't understand how they can get away with this. I just it's obvious. It's an obvious.
It's BS
stuff, but they just do it.
It's well, I can't really say why they want to do it, but they want to make sure that they win. Let me just say that they really want to make sure they win. They're saying people don't have the right to vote. That's how they do it. They say voting rights because that's how they piss people off. Like, you don't have rights, women don't have rights, blacks don't have rights, and it pisses people off. They're like, hey, I want to have rights. We're in America, right? and then they start fighting for it, and they're fighting for a made-up cause because everybody already has the right to vote. There's literally nothing stopping anybody from voting, no matter where you come from. And they're, like always, using blacks as props, saying, oh, black people can't vote. It's really hard for a black person to vote.
Which is really disingenuous because, I mean, there's basically it's that, what did they say? The soft bigotry of low expectations or whatever. Or the one guy calls it just straight up bigotry of low expectations. It's just bigotry. It's not soft bigotry. It's just straight up bigotry. They think, oh, well, black people don't know how to do this stuff. And they do.
They don't know how to get an ID. They don't know how to find their way to the DMV.
It's like, do you really think that they're just stupid? Like,
they do.
Do you want to go say that to some of my black friends? Because they'll probably cuss you out and tell you to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And
that's what will actually happen if these politicians say this type of crap.
Oh, yeah. And they won't.
People.
Yeah, because they've already showed. I think when Steven Crowder was doing his Change My Mind, he was showing stats where it was like well over 80% of black people actually want IDs, and so is Hispanics and Asians and whites and everybody.
It only helps them. It only helps them.
They're always talking about securing the vote. It's like, well, why not ask for an ID? And by the way, the 7 states that currently require ID to vote, it's free. So there's no of this like, oh, well, it's a shame to make people pay for it if they can't and all that. It's free to get a voter ID in any of the states that require it.
Right.
The fact that we don't have it in all 50 states is insane. Like,
it's stupidity. Like, why would you not want to make sure that the person that's voting is actually, a citizen?
And it doesn't make sense when they say it's racist. It's like, okay, well, they get carded when anybody, regardless of color, when you buy alcohol, cigarettes, buy a house, pretty much literally every aspect of your entire life, you're asked for an ID. But it's not racist then. It's only racist if you're specifically trying to vote.
Shit, I'm asked for an ID when I go to rent something.
Like
a piece of like a power tool of some sort, like from one of those those places that have like the augers and shit like that, like when you're trying to like dig something for like a fence post or something.
Yeah.
Like, you need to show ID for that so that they know, like, if you steal the shit, like, who to go after.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just required for life at that point. And what's funny is, so we're saying it like it's normal, right? It's required for life. They're saying black people, Hispanic people are so removed from society that they're so below us that they don't even know how to operate in normal society. They don't know how to operate in the white privileged society.
Which
is how freaking racist that sounds.
It's
incredible. And they say it almost without any shame, obviously, but they say it without any thought or care that, maybe, just maybe, what they're doing to prevent racism and bigotry and all that is just them being racist and bigoted.
Because they know they're not going to be called out on it. I mean, they waste every waking day trying to force the racism on the right. Specifically, if you're white, they try throwing all the racism over there. So they know they can say whatever they want. And they think it sounds good. Like, oh, we're fighting for black people, Because if they were honest, they would say, we think black people are really stupid. They don't know how to get an ID.
We need them to vote for us. So.
Yeah, we need them to vote for us. That's why they get, I was saying this on my other video. Straight white males are number one that the left hates. They're up there. Right under that, and I say a close second, is black conservatives. Look at Candace Owens. Look at Hodge twins. Look at Brandon Tatum. Anyone who not even necessarily is conservative, but just slightly disagrees with the Democrats, who happens to be black.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, they get nothing pisses them off more. Like, who the hell do you think you are? You're an Uncle Tom, you're a bootlicker. All these terms come from the left, not from the right. They say, how dare you not vote for us? How dare you not think the way we want you to think? But somehow we're the racist ones because we say let everyone do whatever they want. You want to vote left, vote left. You want to vote right, vote right. We don't think that blacks are too stupid to get an ID. We know everybody's capable of getting that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people need to pay attention. They need to see when they're being used. And this is a great example. I want to get her off the screen, so let's just play this real quick.
Look, I am not declaring this bill dead because we can't. It is absolutely too important.
She's an Indian.
Understand it this way. Voting is foundational.
Native American,
that is
First
the whole
Peoples.
premise of our democracy. And before we get to the procedural part, keep this in mind, that state legislatures all around the country that are controlled by Republicans are doing everything they can to keep people from voting. Who are they trying to keep from voting? Black people, brown people, college students, people who live on tribal reservations, trying to keep those folks from voting because they might vote Democratic. Every single senator who is a Republican in the United States Senate has said they're not going to do anything. They're letting the states do whatever they want. Look, I am not declaring.
First of all, let me just say what she said about letting the states do whatever they want. That's kind of the point of the United States of America. Let the states do what they want.
So it's almost like we want, more freedom rather than less freedom.
Yeah, but it's because they want. What this really comes down to is they want everything, specifically voting rights, everything federalized. They want the government to control literally everything. That's what this is all is about. What it comes down to is they want to control it. They hate the fact that
it's a power move.
Yeah, and they that's why they say voting rights. There is not a single person out there right now who doesn't have the right to vote. Every single person. I would like to hear somebody say specifically because I am black, I cannot vote. That is the only reason why I can't vote. Because I guarantee you won't find a single human being in this United States that will say that.
The only reason you will not be able to vote is if you are not a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what they will deny you on.
And that's what they keep using, black people, but it's specifically because they want illegal immigrants to vote. That's why they just had...
Yeah, there's barely any black people in America right now that are, actually not American. They came from, South Africa or... one of the European countries, they came from there, like Britain or whatever, and they're just immigrating into America and they don't have all their stuff yet.
Yeah.
But those black people are few and far between, and it's not that they can't vote because they're black. They can't vote because they aren't citizens yet.
Yeah, and that's a handful of people.
But if that's the only bar to you being able to vote, I hate to tell you this, you are in a free ass country. What does Russia do? I'm pretty sure if you're not voting for Putin, you're not voting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if there's any opposition, they'll take care of them, that's for sure.
They'll get rid of him.
But yeah, it's there's the overwhelming amount of whites, of blacks, Hispanics, Asians, they all want ID. They all expect to have ID because they want their vote secure. And why wouldn't you want that? But that just shows how out of touch. I don't know if they're really out of touch or if they know that. If it's we know that the majority of people want this, but we're just going to lie anyway because we need the votes, because if we get the votes, then we stay in power. And if we stay in power, then we stay rich. It's a whole thing. And I think it's really about illegal immigration because, look, now people are pouring in more so than ever before. ICE didn't even do their annual report. I wonder why, of everybody pouring in. And it's really about the illegal immigrants because New York just said, over almost 1 million illegal immigrants are allowed to vote now in New York.
And I actually want to bring this to people's attention because I think some people don't realize this. And kudos to Tim Pool for pointing this out. Because I thought people didn't, so many people were so ignorant to this fact, but people are like, oh, what, you think these illegal immigrants are voting? No, that's not what it is. It all has to deal with the census, okay? If you pour in billions of people into a state, all of a sudden now that census number goes tick, 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 tick up, and now that state has more voting power.
Yeah, and they get more senators, right? Depending on how many.
And now there's it's congressmen. Senators is always 2, yeah. But regardless of that, it's also when it comes to the Electoral College. So we are driven by the Electoral College, right? And so one of the ways that you can adjust that is if all of a sudden California gets an increase of several million people out of nowhere, well, it looks like they're worth more in the electoral voting system.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because, the left always says they don't like the... You just bumped your mic again.
I know I did.
But they always
I moved my hands.
They always say they don't like the Electoral College, but, what they're doing right now is just something that helps push it in their favor. It's like, oh man, where did all those extra, blue votes come from? It's almost like you guys just allowed like 3 million illegal immigrants into, southern states.
Well, why? It makes sense. They didn't want to build the wall. They want to have, they want to defund ICE. Why would everyone doesn't? Not everyone. A lot of people don't know that the wall's already paid for. That wall that's sitting there right now, rusting away, that is paid for. All they got to do is put it up. That is it. It is all paid for. But Joe Biden, for some reason, just said, "Don't build it. Stop. Don't build anymore."
The government is really good at wasting money.
Yeah. We got to waste our money on better things like gender studies and, all that stuff,
Well, and we gotta, build bombs and stuff to, not use them in Afghanistan and just leave them there for the Taliban to take.
The Taliban, they need bombs.
How's the Taliban going to build their army if we don't, leave billions of dollars worth of equipment over there?
They got a fantastic Christmas, man. Billions of dollars of weapons, bombs, even our facilities. There's tons of hangar facilities that we left back there.
Fucking Air Force base at their disposal now.
I like when they said they're like, it doesn't even matter. They don't know how to operate the vehicles, and the next day you see them like driving around and flying the vehicles, and like, oh, they're using them all right.
It's more than that. And what people don't realize is it's so stupid. It's so it's just incompetence or ignorance on people's parts, I should say, where they just don't realize, like, yes, sure, not all of them know how to fly the helicopter. Not all of them. They can't utilize the full thing. But who would love to have some of that tech? Oh, China. Russia. They'll buy it off of them.
Yeah, and they've already been doing deals and all that.
You think they're not going to buy it off of them?
Yeah.
Fucking insane. Of course they are.
Yeah. That's because Biden wanted to rush through, because Biden at least wanted one thing to say, like, hey, I ended the 20-year war. I did that. I was the person who did that.
And failed miserably at it.
And he says he doesn't regret a thing. I don't regret that,
Yeah, it was fine.
13 troops died and hundreds of Afghans died too, It's okay.
What are you talking about, man? There's just been like, the thing. They
I got hairy legs.
They got the towels on their heads, and they're hot all the time.
There's towel people.
So I gave them helicopters, which are like giant fans, and that helps to cool down the desert.
That's right. And that helps climate change, because if the desert's cool, that's like, it brings down temperature, so everything won't heat over, Yeah,
and I gave them the bombs because like if you bomb like the desert, then that creates a swell and rain. Yeah.
I was going to add to that, but I just can't. Well, yeah, even if you, it's crazy when even you ask the parents of the one of the 13 troops that died, they just said like how disingenuous he was being when they were talking to him, like constantly checking his watch.
He's not there.
He doesn't know. Yeah, he either doesn't know or doesn't care, or a little bit of both. Like they said he was like always talking about him or his son. Kept looking at his watch and like kind of like trying to hurry the conversation along.
Hey guys, don't worry. I lost a son once. His name was Hunter. He got lost in Russia.
Oh, whoops. He's smoking cheese or something. He loves that cheese, man. Let me tell you.
Don't worry. I'll get Senator Kokomajo with her powwow chow over here, and she'll help you out. What's that senator's name again? She ran against me and lost, but it doesn't matter. She'll do her rain dance and help the Taliban.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's probably gonna get us banned.
Yeah, we're not making fun of elderly people, just Joe Biden. That's it. But a shift of things that might be. I don't want to use the word fun. I don't want to use fun, but there's a lot of crazy TikToks going out right now.
Oh God!
And I think they need to be addressed. Now, when the left says about unity and coming together, these people make me think otherwise. they're not sane. I don't really want to share a country with people that are this gone, that are this crazy. Now let me show you real quick, because it's you know what? Just watch the video.
Please put if you are pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine in your bio on TikTok, because I just am tired of accidentally following Trumpers and anti-vaxxers. Fuck, please do it. It should be the same priority as pronouns at this point. It hurts following someone who's anti-vax.
What?
I'm getting a twitch in my eye from it. Please.
So we should be.
Wait! Hold on. What?
She wants you to take being unvaxxed as seriously as you take pronouns. Okay, you got to list them in your bio, man. Unvaxxed.
But the left doesn't take pronouns serious. They are.
Wait, repeat that. You cut out.
The left doesn't take pronouns seriously because they don't even know what the fuck they are.
That's true. That's true, and I think we're going to get to that a little later with some interesting stuff that happened with Dr. Phil, right?
Yes, actually, yeah.
Yeah, we got oh shit. All right, we got one more crazy lib for you guys.
You know what's weird is when you start streaming, it's like my mic sometimes cuts out. I don't know what it is.
That's true. It might be drop it down. Let me stream it, and then I'll cut it out.
Right.
Is it at a grocery store?
I don't understand this.
When I was 16. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I was 17. I forget. Because I'm mentally ill. Okay, let's start again. I'm looking for stuff in his beard. Do you hear those voices? Zelda Joe Tedder Billy. I did. I'm a good dancer. These people wear masks. Isn't that rude? I mean, all we ask is them to wear masks.
I just looked over and I saw you dancing, and I just started laughing.
I'm a cheerleader! Woo!
My God.
Let's bring it on, buddy! Let's do this! Let's do this. Woo!
I thought he's just not saying anything.
Or so I heard. Let's give those kids something. If they're hungry, I hope they can breathe. Didn't want to bring anything down in super spreaders. I bet you voted for Trump, didn't ya? Woo!
Got him.
Trumpers! Woo! Yeah, they don't wear masks. We don't cover noses. Woo! Hey.
Like how that dude's like, please leave me out of this. She wearing like a forest line jacket. It's like, you see what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
jacket.
Yeah.
Cold man.
What? These people are not normal. Did you say I'm mentally ill?
Woo! Let's bring this on! Let's go kill some children! Woo! Yes!
What is she? Why is she doing this?
I don't know. So, let me end that stream. So that's a thing that's happening. I don't know what exactly she was doing, because she wasn't like. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't know what that was. That's I have not seen that one. I was just taken aback by her like conductor jacket, that the red jacket, like
Yeah,
it was like
conductor
Spasm on the back. Like,
she did say she was mentally ill though in that clip, like right at the end. I mean, at least she's announcing it. She says she's a Karen. She says she's mentally ill. I mean, at least she's kind of owning up to it.
I just want to know, like, why she cared so much. Like I always thought the left tried to pride themselves in saying they're not the Karens. It's the right that becomes Karen-like.
They try.
It's like, I hate to tell you this, but like most of the Karens I've seen have been on the left. Like they're just a bunch of like crazy
by
old
far
white ladies that are like, oh man, we gotta talk about stuff and care about things that nobody fucking cares about.
Yeah, well, the gist of it is the left want the government and everyone else to be involved in everybody's business, and the right is just leave me alone. Let me do my thing.
You gotta care about it as much as your pronouns. Bro.
Yeah, your pronouns.
I don't understand what's so hard.
You got to start taking this seriously.
Put it in your bio. Are you a femme or not? Do you have a chorus line jacket?
Oh my god.
You know what? I'm saying that, and I'm pretty sure most of the people that are listening to like this podcast are like, the fuck's a chorus line? Like the only reason I know that is because like I went to a Broadway musical the one time. It was a chorus line, and it was like a school trip, and I'm like, man, it was by far the worst Broadway musical I have ever watched.
Oh jeez.
Fucking awful. Like there's no storyline to it. It's just them like auditioning for basically a Broadway play. So it's a Broadway play about auditioning for a Broadway play, and like one of the dudes is like this gay guy, and like tells this really really tragic story about like being gay. And
his parents were Christians and they didn't love him, and
yes, they
beat him with a stick.
And then like the next fucking like actor, and like the whole time there's like this director or whatever that's like where the spotlight is, and he's like constantly talking to the people on stage. It was really unsettling. Like I thought at first it like it wasn't supposed, like it was just for the beginning and then the rest would just be on stage, but you kept hearing this dude talk behind you. And you're like, dude, shut up, I'm trying to watch this musical. And then like this gay guy, he's like telling this heart-wrenching story, and then the next fucking scene, like you're like, oh man, he's gonna succeed, and he fucking breaks his leg. And, like, you're just like, what the fuck? Why did I listen to this guy for a half hour? It's just for him to break his fucking leg. He's not making the chorus line now.
And that was when you were on a high school trip?
Yes. Awful. And it was the chicks that picked the music. We got to choose between, like, to be honest, I kind of understand, like, why people didn't want to go see Phantom of the Opera again. Because, like, I think we had all been on a trip up to New York, like, prior, and we had seen Phantom of the Opera then. And so people were like, well, I don't want to see it a second time. They're like, well, Chorus Line is available. And all the girls were like, oh, we can watch this. And then the guys, we wanted to watch, I think we wanted Lion King or something like that. Like, yeah, let's do something else. Like some, like,
Shrek on Broadway.
Like, yeah, we can get along with that. We want to see freaking lions killed. But anyways.
Anyways.
They won out.
Yeah. So that brings us kind of a horrible segue, going from libs on TikTok to
to Matt Walsh from A Chorus Line.
Yeah. But I'm not even gonna bring up the article because I'm gonna bog down the stream again. But so Matt Walsh was on Dr. Phil.
I by the way, I didn't realize until this came up that Dr. Phil was still on air.
I was gonna say that too. Like when he was like, I was on.
I didn't know he was still going.
Yeah, he's like, I'm on Dr. Phil. I'm like, you're on Dr. Phil. Like he's still here.
Wait a minute, I thought he retired and is like rolling around in wads of money.
It's pretty amazing. But Dr. Phil is still on, and he had Matt Walsh on. Matt Walsh is good. I like most of his stuff.
He comes across as like pretentious sometimes, but maybe that's just like his character. You know what I mean? That's just what he does. Yeah, I don't hold it against him because like I watch a bunch of people that I find also like their characters to be very not uppity. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's like they have this very strong like. Oh man, I don't know how to make it sound like. I don't know the word that I'm looking for that doesn't make it sound like assholes, but like they have this very like they try to like hold themselves at this higher caliber or higher level than like other people. Like, and it's not like they're doing it to be dicks. They're just doing it because that's their character.
Yeah, no, he's known for being a troll and being getting under people's skin. That's kind of like his thing. I just don't agree with everything he says. Some of the stuff he said about Trump and all, I'm not a fan of. But overall, I think he's good. And he was excellent on this episode. I said I wasn't going to bring it up, but let me just at least bring up this clip real quick.
Yeah, bring up the clip. I realize it kind of interrupts my audio. I don't know why it does that, but whatever.
Yeah. So just watch the clip first, and then we'll talk about it.
Just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on their genitalia. If they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the reality. So you can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I actually am those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. You know, it's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and no matter whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional.
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different things. With children, you know, there's also just a basic confusion that all kids have. Like that's why when you hear a parent say, "Oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now, and so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl." No, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question. What is a girl? Ask him what he means by that. What do you mean by girl? And when you ask him that, here's what he'll tell you. He will tell you what he really means is that he wants to do some of the things that girls do, like play with the dollhouse, or you know, he likes the color pink. That's fine, play with the dollhouse, but you're still a boy.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's really good. I'll let you end it, but and then I'll speak.
Yeah.
Interrupts it. Okay, are we good? Yep.
Yeah,
we're good. But so what's interesting about that? So like, this was the thing I kind of researched before, and this was the thing that I really spent a big deep dive on because I thought it was interesting. First off, just because I thought it was interesting that Phil still exists.
Yeah.
And second, it was one of those things where like his argument was actually so clean and simple that's like the point of it. Like, it's he didn't get into the thick of it. Like, if you actually watch the full thing, like those two, the one that had the long hair and the beard, and the hoop earrings, I'm not sure what they wanted to be identified as. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm never going to see this person. She was saying, or he was saying, that, you know, it's important that we differentiate between gender and sex, and we have to have this and that, and they're like, you know, basically conflating the whole argument. Like, oh, you know, there's all these multifaceted things. Like, you know, you may feel like you are, just because you're born this way doesn't mean you have to feel that way, and you know, you can identify as a woman even if you're a man because of this, you know, arbitrary, you know, feeling inside. And really what it came down to was Matt Walsh's argument is that all doesn't matter. All right, you don't own grammar. All right. And that's why his argument was so freaking clean, and like they had no response to him because he's like, yeah, you don't get to choose your adjectives. Why do you get to choose your pronoun?
Yeah.
And like, one of the things that wasn't shown in that video, he goes on and he's like, if you dig up a person like 1,000,000 years from now, you may not know what beliefs were in their head, but by just their bones, you know what sex they were. And that is something that is really, really profound to me. Like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter what's in your head. Like,
Yeah.
at some point, like, if you're just trying to get down to the brass tacks of things and figure out, like, all right, you know, let's get a general idea of like how many men and women were in this town that got wiped out in Pompeii, right?
Yeah.
So Pompeii gets wiped out. They were able to determine, oh man, they lost like this many women, this many men. That they didn't go, oh man, they lost like this many them theirs and these and there was a bunch of people who were too spirited. And then there was a couple that were, you know, felt like they were kind of like demisexual or something. Like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like, that's what his argument was. It was so good.
It's living in reality as opposed to
Right.
something you're just making up.
And that's the thing that I think. That's the thing I want to take away from his argument structure, because whenever I argue this point with people, it never comes from a point of hate, which is what they always try to say it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I just don't want to lie to you.
Yeah.
Like, is it that
Or to
hard
myself
for me?
or society. Yeah.
Like, is it that hard for me to just like look at you and say, look, I get you want to be a woman, but you're just not. Like,
Yeah.
That's not something you are,
Yeah.
because you have these constraints. Like, you can. And the thing is, though, before, like, people used to be fine with just being like drag queens and stuff. Now we like idolize drag.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
But like, people left drag queens alone. Like, it was just guys who wanted to dress up in drag.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's like, well, no, we have to do the full shebang, and you have to identify us as our she self.
And we have to teach our children all this stuff that we're learning and all this crap.
Like, it's really, really odd, because it should never have been about that. And like, that's kind of Matt Walsh's argument, is like, there's a reality to this that you guys are completely missing. And he actually hits it home. And I don't know if that clip's actually brilliant. I don't know if you can find that, but the one where he finally is like, what is a woman?
Yeah, I
And
think I have an
like,
extra clip here.
If you have that one, that is just perfect, because the way he brings it to them, finally at their footsteps, is like, all right, here, let me throw this to your court. Define a woman. And their response is, it's just.
Let me see if this is it.
I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl. Well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were, because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define, because I am not
But
myself.
you used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is, because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people who...
That describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own.
What you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that could be worn.
What does being a woman mean to you?
Be careful, Jojo. Be careful.
Again, no,
we
crap.
don't need that.
Yeah.
But
that's perfect timing, because my camera went dark, if you didn't see. So.
Oh, I didn't even.
Now we're back.
Not a legit.
Let's close this out. All right, my mic's good again. Yeah, that right there, like, okay, I don't know if you've ever done debate. I think I said before in like episode 1 that I had a debate class or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We did public speaking debate. Right then, when he could not define what a woman was and was like, I can't. He lost that. Like that's just a loss. Like if he were to say, like there's like an actual debate going on. Like obviously, a Dr. Phil debate. Who the hell?
Yeah.
What are you gonna get? Freaking brownie points you can spend on your side and be like, oh, you see me? I really own that Matt Walsh. or like Matt Walsh can be like, oh, I really got them. I took it to him. Oh.
But see, like it's a important thing to bring up because not a single one of them or anybody attacking him on Twitter could define. Nobody has defined yet what is a woman. There's attacking Matt Walsh.
You're not allowed to, because if you do, you've lost.
Yep.
As soon as they define what a woman is, they've lost.
Yeah, and isn't that kind of degrading to women? They're pretty much taking away all their accomplishments, everything they fought for. So if a woman is just a word you just use,
it's an umbrella term.
Yeah, it's just a term. Then it doesn't mean anything. It has no relative meaning, and their history is meaningless. Then it takes away everything from women. I could say I'm a woman, and boom, there you go. It doesn't. It's like it doesn't mean anything. Everyone could toss it around. And I think that's incredibly disrespectful to women for, just everything, they accomplished at one point. Feminist movement is definitely,
Well, it also comes down to this. So if you, again, it comes back to me saying, I don't like to lie to people. And you shouldn't have to lie to someone to, keep them in their, to acquiesce to their delusion, to, kind of supplant your belief systems just so that they feel comfortable. Like that's not reality.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like about this is the fact that I have to lie to this person. And like if you go up to a trans I'm not sure how this works. A person who went from man to woman, you go up to them and be like, hey, can you have a kid? They can't. They just can't.
Yeah.
There's just some things that they don't experience. And then it's like, yeah, well, guess what? You can say you're a woman all you want, but it must be really nice that you never have to deal with like cramps and periods.
Yeah.
It must be real freaking nice. Like my wife goes through some of the worst cramps and periods like ever. And it's something she wouldn't wish on anyone. And yet you have some, Joe Schmo out there. It's like, oh, today I'm just a woman. And you know what? You just have to respect that.
Cramps.
You have to, I am a woman, and you have to 100% believe that.
Yeah, and it's also like them forcing others to live in their make-believe world. Like, you want to call yourself a woman, you want to dress up or whatever, I don't really give a shit. It doesn't mean anything to me. But when you start, people getting fired from their jobs, people feeling, vilified, demonized, banned off social media just because they won't play along with your narrative, it's insane. And that's when I have a problem with it. Because, like, I live in reality. I'm sorry. There's male and there's female, and that's it. And it also comes back to you don't want to offend anybody. Like, it's this weird generation of you don't want to tell anybody no. Like, you don't, we can't say no to them. We can't tell them what they're saying is,
Yeah, and then we get like a weird like freedom issue, which always pisses me off. It's like, well, no, it's not about freedom or whatever. It's not like I am stopping you 100%. I'm just saying what you're trying to do isn't in reality. And also, the other thing that I can't stand, it's one, I don't like lying to people, and two, I don't like allowing people to really put themselves in danger.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's the ugly truth of this whole thing that people don't want to admit. When you do stuff to your body hormonally, and the only reason I know this is because at one point in college I took a high bio. I don't know how I got into it, but I took like this really advanced biology class, and it was like biochemistry. It was like a biochem class. Don't ask how I did well. I passed with a B.
There you go.
Very low B, but I passed.
I'm surprised they still do that. Yeah.
But one of the things that we went over the one time was hormones and stuff, and how hormones control your body's organs and stuff like that, like how the all the way down to the simple stuff that high schoolers know, like the pituitary, but then into more in-depth stuff of the like endocrine system and how like your hormones affect every little thing, like all the way to the the simple stuff of making sure that your gallbladder secreting enough stuff for your intestines, to the more complex, believe it or not, of like your actual sex, like how your for lack of a better term, your balls, whether they be your testicles or your ovaries, how those actually affect like the production of sperm and eggs and stuff like that. Like the more complex, like actually building your body to be that man or woman. And one of the things that they always stressed in this class, like, you can really affect someone hard, which is why, they, before a woman gets like a birth control thing, they make sure that the hormone reacts well with them, because it's just an estrogen thing. And so they want to make sure that this hormone isn't going to adversely affect you. Because you can really screw someone up. You can make them suicidal. You can make them delusional. You can make them to the point where they are seeing shit just by fucking just a little bit with their hormones.
Yeah.
And people don't realize this. They think, a doctor's allowed me to transition. And this has to be fine.
Yeah.
No. You don't get it. You're putting stuff in your body that's not meant to be there.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you're fucking with your brain chemistry. And once you start doing that, well, we always get made fun of for the slippery slope, but at that point, you are on one. You're on a slippery slope where you can just snap.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, you're freaking talking to yourself, and I guess it's a good idea. Nobody's accepting me for my womanhood, so I guess I should just hang myself.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, how do you?
It's not even a joke at that point. Like, that's what happens sometimes. They get so hormonally messed up in their head.
Suicide rate's high. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
pre and post op.
Yeah. It's a crazy thing. I think it would solve a lot of problems that my main problem is I just don't want to play along. That's it. You want to say and do and dress how everyone, that's fine, but society shouldn't be, have to play along with it. You got people saying, in the men's bathrooms now they're going to start having tampons and all this shit. Like, it's not real. It doesn't exist. It's not a real thing, and it's all because they don't want to tell people the reality. They don't want to tell people
truth?
Yeah, the truth, because they're so worried. Not offending someone is literally shaping everything we do and everything we say, and even our policies and everything, all shaped around, like, does this offend anybody? If we pass this bill, it might offend somebody, so we should just kill it. Like, that's when I have a problem. Yeah, when it's totally contradicting our way of life. It's make believe, but I don't know. I was trying to think of a way to segue into our our last story. We might be wrapping it up after this last story.
Let's finish it up with this one.
But yeah, I was thinking of a way to segue into it. Good, but
I just bring it up.
Yeah, Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard. It's such a dumb.
We got to talk about nerd stuff.
Yeah, we always try to get a little nerdy into it. I was like, I'm tired of talking about trainees. I can't say that, can I, on YouTube?
No, we're talking about
transmissions. I gotta watch.
Transmission is also, colloquially.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Tranny, because you put a transmission in, and
and you gotta control it. That's what I'm saying. I'm a mechanic. I work on them a lot, and that's just the lingo we use. But Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, which is insane. Microsoft is buying a lot of companies.
They're the new Disney.
They're new freaking Disney. So they bought them for around, just about $70 billion.
Yes.
Which is insane for a gaming company. It is the largest sale in the history of the video game industry. I would assume so, at $70 billion.
Dude, at that point, like, Bezos' dick rocket doesn't look like much.
Yeah. And even like from 2010 until now, I was looking it up just for the hell of it last night. From 2010 until now, I think it's like the 16th highest bid, like among oil companies and electrical companies and stuff. Like, it's insane for a video game company. But Microsoft,
they own so much though, because Activision is like this already. Wasn't Activision already a parent company to several other smaller companies?
Yeah, I believe Activision bought up some stuff.
Like Blizzard?
Yeah.
Wasn't Blizzard a part of that?
And in 1979, a group of disgruntled Atari employees decided to quit and create their own company. Activision was the first world's... that's what happened? Atari employees made Activision? I actually didn't know that. The world's first...
I wonder where the microtransactions came in.
Yeah, where all that came in.
When did they decide on that one?
Well, EA is definitely worse with that. I don't know where they're going with that. But so Microsoft already owned. They bought Minecraft in 2014 for I don't even know how much. It was like $1 billion or something.
Absurd.
Yeah. They bought. What did they buy? Oh, they bought Elder Scrolls and Doom. I forget who the publisher is. They're buying up a lot and bought Activision and Blizzard. Yeah, Bethesda.
Fucking Bethesda.
What where's it? 2014 for 2.5, and Elder Scrolls and Doom publisher ZeniMax in 2020. Who the heck's ZeniMax? I thought it was Bethesda.
It's Bethesda's all. Well, I don't know.
I don't know how.
Definitely did all the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, there's always companies within companies, so it's hard to keep track of it. But
ZeniMax is probably like the mother company above Bethesda.
Yeah, they're buying a lot. Microsoft is, like Adam said, becoming the Disney of it. So they have Minecraft now. They got Elder Scrolls, Doom. Now they got Blizzard and Activision. They could, if they wanted to, make Call of Duty an exclusive, which is one of the highest selling games almost every year. They could put that on their Game Pass and be like, "This is the only place you can play it now." Screw Sony, screw everybody else. They could do that with, I guess.
Well, didn't they put a tweet out where it was like, it's like, yes, we're gonna allow. We talked to so and so, and yes, we're gonna allow COD to be cross-platform. We're not monsters like Sony or something like that.
That'd be like, I know. Microsoft and Nintendo were kind of teasing Sony a lot with some things. Like, I think one of the first games they started doing was Rocket League. And they were kind of teasing because Sony would not allow cross-platform, but Switch and Microsoft were working together. Yeah, to allow it. So they had some pretty funny tweets over the time, just teasing Sony. Because Sony's just so strict with their properties and stuff.
We can't let you have this.
Yeah.
Speaking
of Sony, though, I'm looking at it in the article. Microsoft is now the third largest company in the industry behind Tencent and Sony. So Sony's still ahead of them, which is crazy.
I don't think they'll ever surpass Tencent. They are monster.
The Chinese behind that.
Well,
and who knows what they're doing.
Tencent also bought up things like all the MOBAs pretty much are under Tencent. So they have League of Legends. They even bought up freaking Unite right away. They have Unite.
Wow.
Pokemon's MOBA. They have a bunch of other just smaller mobile games. So they have if there's a mobile game out there that's doing well, Tencent probably has their fingers in it in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tencent just has a bunch of just random games you wouldn't even think of.
PUBG Mobile.
They own.
Yeah.
And they're in charge of in some way, shape, or form.
But now. Yeah, no one's going to pass Tencent. They own everything pretty much. We don't even know exactly how far it goes.
We don't know how much they own because they just own just random shit.
Yeah. And so Microsoft now has control of franchises like Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. They can literally exclusify pretty much everything.
Look, I'm a big MOBA player, so I'm just excited for when Heroes of the Storm, which I haven't said that name in a while because that MOBA died off. I shouldn't say it died off. It's just they no longer have competitive leagues for it anymore.
They took it away.
That.
Yeah.
But I'm just waiting for Master Chief to be in Heroes of the Storm. I'm pulling for him.
That'd be awesome.
I would lose my shit if he's in there.
I wonder if we'll really see any huge changes. It's obvious Microsoft now owns Blizzard. Doing some kind of exclusive title or something
So the thing that Microsoft likes to do is make money, right?
Oh yeah.
I honestly think all the shit that's been going on with World of Warcraft and all that, I think they're going to tighten the reins on that because there's okay, we spent how much was it, 70 billion? Or
just about 70 billion. It was 68.
Yeah, we spent 70 billion, and one of the big things that's making money over here is World of Warcraft. You guys have been consistently fucking this up. So how about we do a little overhaul and get some fresh, fucking faces in here that are actually going to do the job and not just, replace paintings on the walls of like sexy women with fruit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now, Blizzard was in all that trouble with sexual assault and suicides going on, like a huge mess over there at Blizzard.
And Microsoft's not innocent either, but they also are all about like making money. So
yeah, I think
they're going to do something to change up. Like if you're spending $70 billion on this, I imagine they're going to be like, all right, you got to fix up World of Warcraft, do something with StarCraft finally. Like that thing's just done.
Yeah, that's been dead. They did the StarCraft 2 and they did the 2 expansions, right? And that was it.
Yes, and then they brought back the old StarCraft.
Oh yeah, remastered. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a remaster, and then they fucked up the remaster of the
Warcraft 3. Oh my god, I got a refund for that because I was like, I'm very against like pre-ordering games nowadays because I'm tired of paying full price. I'll wait till it's on sale. That's what I've been doing, but. I was like, Warcraft 3, I played that so much growing up, and they offered a free mount for Warcraft, so I was like, that's a cool mount, man. Dude, I mean, it's so cool mount, and I got to keep the mount even though I got the refund, so I was like, all right, I'm going to
play World of Warcraft anymore?
I actually just renewed last week, I think, just so I can play behind me right now, Burning Crusade. So Burning Crusade came out when I was 17, 2007, and that was the best moment of WoW, in my opinion.
You're talking about WoW Classic though now.
Yeah, WoW Classic.
But
it's Burning Crusade. They brought it back. Like they did WoW Classic, and then now they caught up to Burning Crusade. So now you can actually go play the expansion just like it was back in 2006 when it first came out. Everything I think the graphics are current.
So I always wanted to ask someone who's a fan of that. What's the point, though? Like,
what do you mean?
What's the point? Like, so eventually they're
nostalgia.
They're just gonna eventually get up to like, all right, now we're WoW Classic back to Burning Legion or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Well, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, so they did WoW Classic, which is a pretty easy one to do.
We're going to Mist of Pandaria again.
Oh God.
Fat chubby pandas.
Yeah, so they did the original WoW, which came out in 2004. And then I'm like, are they actually going to do Burning Crusade? It just seems kind of weird. Like they would go through all the expansions again. I like how they're like, dude, our main game sucks. People aren't playing it anymore. They're let's just go back in time and just reverse everything. Then they'll eventually do Wrath of the Lich King.
Oh man, everybody's going to play the fucking weird cat boys at Final Fantasy 14. We're fucking losing.
Dude, Final Fantasy 14 is doing very well compared to WoW. It's
because they care about the I am not a big whatever fan. My wife though loves.
Oh yeah,
fucking
that's
Final
for sure.
Fantasy 14, and it's just a pretty game. It's a pretty game, and I mean that genuinely. It's easily I think the best looking MMO.
Oh yeah, the scenery and everything, graphics, very good looking game.
Everything just looks crisp, clean. It looks very spot on, nothing seems out of place. I don't know how to describe because I don't play a lot of MOBAs, but
yeah, it's just the way
World
they
of
set
Warcraft
it up.
always felt like it was blocky and certain characters.
It's very cartoony. WoW, compared to that,
just didn't fit with the atmosphere. But
yeah, it's really
is fucking good. And apparently the story they actually care about the story.
Yeah, they do a good job with the
actually
characters.
plays it for the story. I'm like, what? And I was like, that's not what MMO people do. They fucking skip that shit. They don't give a fuck.
It's funny because I still skip a lot of it because she was trying to explain the storyline to me. I'm like, who's that character? And she's like, you've seen him. You played the expansion. I'm like, I don't know. I skip over that shit.
I hit the tab button. I'm getting by it.
It's after but I mean, I do agree. They do a good job with the story. I played for. I don't really pay attention to the cutscene. I have a short attention span, but I do agree. They do a really good job with the cutscenes and just wrapping up the story in general, voice acting and all that. They put a lot of work into that game. They clearly care about it.
They're the only company that took a failure and turned it into a success like that. Normally when something fails like that, it dies and you lose a lot of money.
Dude, their original.
And they incorporated it into the story. They're like, yeah, there's just this big cataclysmic event. The heroes lost, and the world had to be reborn.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that when it first came out. It was like a disaster, to say the least.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But what was cool about it was, and I actually watched a pretty cool documentary on it, and it's something that I think WoW should do, kind of going back to Microsoft buying out Blizzard IPs and stuff like that. I'm hoping maybe they see the line that 14 did, and they're like, well, let's just do this with World of Warcraft. What they actually did in 14 was like the final days of the original 14, like you could watch as like there's this big like ball of like fire in the sky, like, and that's where like Bahamut was like being birthed out of. And like eventually once it got to the ticker, like to the final minutes, you could just sit there and watch, and then as soon as like the server shut down, they played the trailer for A Realm Reborn.
That's
and
pretty awesome.
It was the cutscene that you see at the beginning where it's like the dragon busts out of the moon or wherever the fuck it is and starts just blowing everybody up, and like the wizard dude sacrifices himself to save the heroes and warp them out of existence for a time being or whatever. And yeah, the end of the first 14 was you lost. Like, you couldn't stop the big bad guy. They released Bahamut, and he destroyed. Now you have to like kind of work over again to rebuild the world.
Yeah, it's pretty
actually
cool.
From a marketing standpoint, brilliant. Yeah. And streamers like Asmongold and stuff like that, who have been like streaming 14 now, said they should just do that with Warcraft. Just
try to make like a reboot kind of thing.
Just start it all over, like destroy everything, set us back to zero. Like, instead of like Sargeras, like I feel so nerdy that I know who Sargeras is. Like, you're freaking your cousin. We call him Hank, but him talking about it all the time to me, just like is stuck in my brain. Yeah, big dude with the sword. Like instead of him just like his sword sticking into the earth or world, whatever the fuck.
He like stabbed Azeroth. He stabbed the planet or whatever.
Like instead of that, just fucking like, you know what? Sargeras just fucking blows everyone up. They all die.
Yeah.
You know what? The jailer, he wins. Fuck it. Jailer wins, kills everybody. Fucking Sylvana, she's a dumb bitch and fails for whatever she was trying to do, and we all lose, all right? We all lose, but you know what happens? Someone somewhere, fucking Thrall or something's like, no, we gotta do something. So he pulls the power of like Jaina and fucking who's the other human that fucking
the son of Stormwind.
I can't remember what his fucking
Prince.
Anduin.
Anduin, that's it.
And it's like, all right, if we pull our powers together, we can, save the next generation, all right? And they're just like, okay, they do some sort of magic spell, and if all of a sudden, everything gets reset. The jailer wins, destroys half the universe, does his fucking Thanos snap, whatever. But they have now a game plan for like the next generation to beat the jailer.
They go to a different dimension and stuff, and things are different.
Something happens where like, Azeroth gets
the Great Reset.
The Great Reset.
But no, I see what you're saying. Like,
that's what I think. If anything, with Microsoft buying all of these IPs and stuff, it's just a fresh look now.
Yeah.
Because like, actually, Microsoft buying like the Doom franchise and all that was like the best thing for Doom, because Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal were fucking fantastic.
Amazing games, dude.
So
freaking fantastic.
Maybe that happens with Warcraft with this, acquisition.
Yeah,
who knows?
I mean, they'll have to do something, because the player base is like an all-time low. Which is why they came out with classics. Like, we gotta have something, and it was like nobody likes the current World of Warcraft, so let's start making the classic. Man, maybe people start coming back. Which a lot of people, I know a lot of people who play the classic and don't even touch the retail. Like, they're just fully immersed in the classic. But it's not going to last forever. The nostalgia is going to wear off, and then they're going to have something to do. But I don't know. Maybe they will do some kind of reboot thing. I don't think it really matters at this point because Microsoft is so effing rich. So they got
Then they're not going to touch COD. COD is just going to be COD forever.
Yeah. Especially
with Warzone. Now all they do is they just add another 100 gigabytes to that game.
Yeah, and they're like linking. They link all the games now. So it's like Warzone. You got the Black Ops Cold War, and then you got the new one. And they're pretty much just linking them all together. Apparently, according to an article I read earlier today, they're trying to move away from the yearly release, which I think would be good. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed. Remember Assassin's Creed was every year, and then eventually there's
they always have like something coming out, and it's just like it got shittier.
Yeah, it got shittier. Yeah, the biggest thing with Assassin's Creed was they kind of just gave up on the storyline, though, which was a shame because that was the one part I really liked about the game. But I remember
now it's just like they're like, yeah, gods are real.
Yeah, well, I know the
gods are real.
Yeah, the creator he said he didn't like doing the modern day stuff because it's if for anyone who doesn't understand the game, it takes place in modern time, but you hook yourself up to this machine which sends your consciousness back in time so you can live through your ancestors' memories. But the creator got tired of doing the modern day story and trying to link it with the past, so they kind of just abandoned that whole thing, which I thought was a big downgrade. I really like the whole mixing the modern timeline with the past and all that. But
I didn't care either way. I just liked assassinating people.
Yeah, that's what it killed. I think that's what most people wanted, so it was a win overall for them.
Well, now it's like now you're playing as fucking Odin, like.
Oh, for Valhalla.
That trailer. Yeah,
I didn't play the newest one yet. No.
You're just fucking Odin.
Why not?
Why is he? I guess he's an assassin.
It's like God of War now.
Basically, I think they saw the success of God of War and they're like, "Hey, we can do that shit." Instead, though, you're gonna play as Odin.
Yeah. And maybe Microsoft will, because Overwatch 2 kind of like a lot of people thought they're going to scrap Overwatch 2, but maybe they won't this time with Microsoft buying it. Maybe they'll keep it going.
I don't know. So that's something too that Microsoft is known for. If something's also not making money, they're going to fucking
they nix it.
Yeah, sorry, you get your head chopped up. That's what happened with Halo. The reason they kind of shied away from Halos so much is because they're just like, let's just stop making money. And then all of a sudden it's been 5 years since a Halo came out, and then Infinite drops and they're like, oh, okay, it's making money now. So we'll pay attention to it.
Yeah. But it's a huge buy. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we'll wrap things up there. But speaking of video games, I know we said it before, but we're just trying to get on a good schedule with the podcast and everything. But we do plan on doing more Twitch related stuff. Maybe we'll stream on YouTube too. I don't know, but we'll do some video games at some point. Me and Adam. We do Call of Duty, Apex. I'll probably do some of my retro stuff. But you can find all the links below my Twitch and all that. I'm trying to rebrand the whole Twitch and everything to align with the podcast and the channel. So,
right. And I think also what we'll do is with our so we always have a weird nerdy section in our podcast that's just gets away from
we're nerds.
We're nerds. But I think what we can also do is me and Chris have if you haven't noticed yet, we have very different approaches to video games. And so some of the things that I think would be interesting for you guys is have Chris play a game that he really likes and try to explain said game to me as I go, yeah, that doesn't make any fucking sense, Chris, but okay.
We're gonna try that at some point with Kingdom Hearts.
So something like Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that. That's his favorite game. I don't fucking get the game. And then other times, games that I'm more in tune with, for instance, MOBAs and stuff like that, like League of Legends and stuff like that, we'll get Chris to play with me, and we'll try to see if we can get Chris a W.
Yeah, I already agreed I'll do some MOBAs, so I'm not excited for it, but I'll do it. So that should be interesting at some point.
And then obviously we'll just play some good 2-player games or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
back in the day, we played through the Metal Slugs.
Oh, that was a good time. That was a good time. That was a great game.
We'll do stuff like that just so that it's to be a break from, because obviously talking about like transgender issues and
you can only talk about them so much, you know.
And like Biden freaking being senile, like that gets boring after a while. Like it's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, we don't want to hear him stammer for 3 minutes straight, and it's like, all right, at that point, it's like I'm bored. I want to talk about something.
And obviously, and I think some podcasts too, like, so if there isn't much political going on that day, we'll probably just like focus on just like social issues that are happening.
Yeah.
And I think, but let us know in the comments, like,
absolutely,
what you guys would like either way. Like, even if you have like game recommendations for us to like review or whatever,
play
like,
on live stream and all that.
That is definitely something that we would like to do, because that's in our wheelhouse as well. We're not just these, two political, idiots talking on a screen for everybody else to be like, yeah, I don't like your opinion. Fuck you.
Yeah, and it breaks up, because that's how I first. The only reason I'm even here now is because of video games. Like, I first started on Twitch, and I was like, I really wanted to get all in the stream. I used to stream every single day, like 6 days a week. But then there was one video I made that was kind of political, not really. I was talking about the Gina Carano thing. And that just set off a chain reaction. I lost a lot of followers that day and everything, and it made me want to talk about it more. And that's when I started to gear towards more Patriotic Cab and doing political things. But after so much time, I'm just like, it would be nice to get back to like kind of a break from politics, play some games and all that. So I think, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe this upcoming week, maybe 2, we'll start to do some games on Twitch, or again, maybe we'll just stream on YouTube. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Whatever works. Either way, we'll be streaming live to do more live content, and then of course we'll be doing live content on the podcast. We're just starting out. We're new at this, obviously. We're just 2 average ass, basic bitch Americans. We work our asses off every day, but we're also trying to do some content in the meantime.
Get stuff off our chest.
Yeah, get some stuff off our chest. And I think soon we'll probably think about live, but we got to iron out some things and
like the chat and stuff. Like, 'cause obviously we'd love to have just like, even I guess I get it. We're starting out, so there's not going to be like thousands of people chatting all the time. But even with just a small amount, like, it'd be nice to interact with
with people and all, and
that want to say something to us.
Yeah. And I even have trouble bringing up an article, so I'm like, all right, let's buff out these scratches before we actually commit to a daily live show or whatever we do, But when we do that, we'll let you guys know. And of course, you can find this podcast on YouTube, Rumble, our locals page, also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, all in the description below, as well as our sources. And you can find me and Adam on GETTR, and you can find me on the main platforms, of course, but also I'm on Gab.
Did you make a Gab yet?
Yeah, you gotta make a Gab.
I haven't done that yet, because remember you said you're like, oh yeah, you can't just like download an app or whatever. You have to like go to their main site.
Yeah, you gotta. There's a way to get the app. But did you see this Timcast with the Gab guy on there?
Oh yeah. I did watch that.
Did you watch the one with the GETTR guy on there too? It was like right before it.
That's the one I didn't watch, was the GETTR guy.
It was funny because it was like back to back. So they had GETTR on, and then they had the Gab guy on, and the GETTR guy, man, I just watch it. He really lets the guy have it. Pretty much the final assessment was it's better than Twitter, but there's still not fully free speech.
Right.
Really,
they have to be on the platform. They have to be on the app store.
Yeah. So they have to comply to some rules. But there's a part where like they banned Nick Fuentes, I think his name is. And Tim Pool's questioning him, like, why did you ban him? And he didn't have an answer. He had no answer. And then Tim Pool just said right to his face, he's like, I think you're bullshit. He's like, I think you're lying about all this. Like, it gets really good, the podcast. I would highly recommend watching that.
I'm just looking at it. Yeah, that was a couple videos ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Last week he did it.
Yeah, Stephen Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it. But yeah, their point being, Gab is the true free speech platform. But you can find me on. I do have Gab TV. I don't upload there often because they're very restricted with what you can do with video, in terms of not free speech, but in terms of their capabilities.
Right.
I think you can only upload like 2 gig files or something like that. It's very.
Yeah, they're really they seem to be pretty weird. Like when they were talking to the Gab guy on Timcast, it was like they were going over some of like his like I think they said like they didn't like the UI on it and stuff like that. Like
yeah, there were some complaints about it.
Kind of weird.
I personally like the UI. I think overall because they're building everything from scratch.
Yes.
Like, they're not using anybody's servers or anything. Like every time somebody gets banned, liberals always say, "Well, just go build your own. Just go make your own." And they kind of took that literally, Gab, and they're building everything from the ground up, all their servers, Gab TV.
Yeah, Gab. Okay, so like I'm looking at it now, and I'm trying to see what they're saying. Basically, it. Okay, so someone described it as like a dumbed down Facebook, and I kind of see that, but like I mean, it looks pretty similar to how Facebook is. Like,
yeah, I mean, I love Gab way more than Facebook. It's. I mean, yeah, like look, it's probably not the snappiest app, but again, they do everything themselves, so it's like you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
Yep. Okay, I see what like. Again, this is one of those things where like I'm not a big social media guy or whatever, so. Like I got the GETTR app and did GETTR stuff just so that I could post on.
GETTR's fine.
Like
I mean,
Twitter. But even there, I post stupid stuff that.
Yeah, but you can. Yeah, but yeah, you can find our GETTRs and whatever else in the description below. And that's really it. I don't know. We'll record our next episode. We'll let you guys know and upload it as soon as we can.
Probably sometime this week.
Yeah,
I would say sometime this week.
Yeah, this week and maybe this week we'll do some gaming streaming stuff. We'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear, and we'll let you guys know. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and if you would be so kind to give us a follow over on Spotify and leave a 5-star review, that does help a lot. I do appreciate it. And we'll just
look cool.
Yeah, it makes us look cool. We'll go from there. All right. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and see y'all next time.